NANI?!
Hey you! Yes, you! You looking for some hardcore mech action? Well, strap in, pal! I have an offer that will make the hairs on your neck stand up and dance around like no one's watching.
What is up, everyone? Hello, hello, and welcome. Oh, the camera's on. The camera's been on the whole time, huh? I don't even know. Hello.
Oh, hello, friend. Another slight surprise to MechWarrior 5 announced in late February. Yet another expansion. Something to keep people busy until Clan supposedly drops this year. This time centers around arena combat, a tribute to MechWarrior 4 mercenaries. Specifically a character, Duncan Fisher.
Rolling.
You're gonna have to do better than that, buddy. Hey, folks, Duncan Fisher here, broadcasting from the seat of my mech. Whoa, mama, I felt that. I should stop letting him win.
A sort of spoof on a rogue type character, a Zap Brannigan, if you will. Solaris Showdown serves as a prequel in ways to right before he gets the chair as announcer. Access this, same as the others, choosing new career. Notice the start date of 3040. Normally, you would be outclassed in a traditional story mission pack. This one, not so much, because you actually get to start here with an Atlas, and soon enough you get a really good Highlander, so you can just start even if it's a new game. We are hitting the nostalgia with this one. Most of the other expansions had some sort of story throughout the history of the universe. This time, not so much. It's rather contained to the events of the games. It brings back the crew from the main campaign with Mason. Starts out simple enough, doing some Merc mission, taking out pirates. Have to admit, Mason is getting to be a grumpy old man.
I'm getting too old for this shit.
After some inter-mercenary company negotiations,
Stand down or we'll put you down. Just like the pirates. Your dog is tougher than you are.
we find ourselves participating in the arena matches. In those, Duncan will join us with his Warhammer. We do have to protect him. Thankfully, he stays close to us, like a normal teammate, and his mech dishes out and takes damage well. We get to see those AI improvements on display. There does seem to be more dialogue recorded for this than past expansions, with a variety of announcers with a few nicely done cutscenes. Now these arena missions are a tutorial of sorts, getting us used to what to expect going forward. Primarily it's team matches, 4v4 or free-for-all. We have three strategies. 1. Sit and hide in a corner, waiting for everyone to get maimed, then finish the survivors off. 2. Be Batman, hide in the shadows, and feed on the weak. 3. Outclass the entire map with your take on a Steiner Scout Lance.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang! Bang!
The campaign missions have some nice rewards. Get about 50 mil on a variety of mech variants unique to this expansion. We get a Cataphract, a Corsair, a Loader, which is a new type this go around, a Highlander, and finally, an Annihilator. And it's got some space that we will use for some shenanigans in a sec. There is a unique Crusader for the ranking system post-campaign. I have to say the rewards were rather lackluster. It's mostly just money, maybe a few expansion rank 4 weapons before resetting and going to prestige levels. Difficulty goes up as rank increases. If you don't outclass the current mechs, there is a chance it could be challenging. That comes from the chance you get focused fired on a map without cover. Most of the time it's easy to avoid by running to cover and letting the opponents grab aggro. is that chance every team for some reason targets you out of the gate. There is a chance your team will be placed around a map. Your task is to then try to collect everyone, killing everything as soon as possible to avoid excessive damage. It's not as bad as I make it out to be, even at top ranks. Letting groups fight amongst themselves while picking off the stragglers of that improved AI. I tend to find these matches go faster. If we find the industrial hub, we can just do short jumps around the area as the missions regenerate fast. Since the missions go faster, better faction with the arena companies, more salvage, more mechs. Pretty sweet deal. One of the better deals out of the expansion is the new gear. I've only noticed them on arena opponents. However, you can use them outside of the arena. Thankfully, because these seem fairly good. At some point, you may notice new colors of death whizzing by your head. Let's start with the purple.
Oh yeah, here comes Kool-Aid, here comes Kool-Aid, I'm gonna save the day.
This PPC, but not normal blue line, this advanced Dark Magic PPCX, a shotgun variant that is still fairly effective at range. Put it on the end campaign Annihilator that can fit 4, hilarity ensues.
Now witness the firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station.
Binary laser. This one has me mixed. Its range is impressive, however its long cycle time and high heat output leaves it wanting. Put 3 on a Marauder. We'll need some heat capacity upgrades to not overload, but it does a nice job putting armor into red or orange. We got burst and rapid fire for rifle and autocannon. Rapid being a faster cycling time for single shot, and burst being 3 or more rounds spewing forth. Really impressed with a burst rifle, as it's a real part sniper. The autocannon not so much. It feels like slapping a wet noodle. Despite there being little difference in damage numbers, something feels off about it. Put 2 AC-20 BFs on a king crab and I was the one who ended up feeling it.
Can you feel it, Mr. Krabs? 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 Can you feel it, Mr. Krabs?
One of the more amusing additions is the Arena Supercharger. This one is more powerful than base, with far less ability to turn than a mask. Technically, you have become a muscle car with guns. It does seem like every urban mech in the arena has one, plus a PPCX or an AC-20. It turns them into fierce little ankle biters. Lastly, we have melee weapons. Nothing to write home about. There's a greatsword, lance, heavy mace. Tried to lance on a hatchet man. It was meh, because MechWarrior 5 isn't really a melee game. Mostly shooty. Your generic fists are generally enough to do extra damage in a pinch. Then a legend appeared. The campaign Highlander has a greatsword plus the arena supercharger. Then I realized the lost potential of just how fun melee could be. Cause it's a Highlander, an assault mech that can fly. Now it can run. Can I recommend Solaris Showdown? Yes. I enjoyed myself here more than the story-focused expansions. Is it worth $15? No. The ideal time to buy them is about 50% off, which is roughly around a Steam seasonal sale. $7 is okay, but be better if they were all in one big complete pack. Each one does add a layer on more things to do in this sandbox, Solaris adds new weapons that can breathe life into gameplay and mech building, yet more mech variants to tweak. When you find a good place to grind arena areas, the acquisition of loot skyrockets, with the mission seemingly faster to complete than the standard generated missions, a lot less mindless walking, waiting, and a lot more shooting. The special Highlander makes me realize they should have more mechs be able to use superchargers, as it makes melee significantly more viable, and hopefully in the future maybe some kind of engine tuning. As for problems, the AI can still be derp with pathing or just checking out. If I had to guess, it would be their target acquisition seems faster now. The other problem I thought I had is the arena is in 3040, the latest available starting point. I presume this is to leave something to do after all the stories are done. Then I went back to a fresh 3015 start. You can do the generic arena missions before. That's good news, as I prefer arena way much more than the slow-paced random generated missions. At this point we wonder, will there be another expansion in 8 months? That's the fun part. Nobody knows until 3 weeks before they release.
I met her in a club down in Old Soho, where you drink champagne and it tastes just like Coca-Cola. C-O-L-A, Cola.
Give us a break.
He sickens me.
She walked up to me and she asked me to dance. I asked her name, and in a dark brown voice she said, Leela!